All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Core Unit Tools number 5. Today, we're going to be getting to know a bit more what Bitwage is. So just as a reminder, this is a session that we started to help core units build and do things around potential services that they could bring to MakerDAO. So we present different tools that could benefit this. So today I'm very happy to be here with Fabiano, Jonathan, Matt, and Raul from Bitwage that are going to be telling us a bit more about this. So guys, if you want to take it away.
Sure, I'll begin. My name is Jonathan Chester. I'm the CEO of Bitwage. So I started Bitwage with my co-founder back in 2014. I think back then there was really only Bitcoin that was around, and we were looking at what's going to need to exist in the world of cryptocurrency if it's going to be the future and used as a real financial instrument and payment instrument. And what we came to the realization of is business payments are going to be very important. And so we strive to be the first company to do business payments. And the result of this was a Bitcoin payroll solution. This is, again, 2014. And what we're here to talk about today is how this has morphed and changed. So we have seen the rise of stablecoins being very important in this field. As you may or may not know, we ended up moving from a benefit to a cross-border solution. So companies use us to pay workers all over the world, but we also have a B2C solution where workers, freelancers, gig workers sign up, and we give them access to bank accounts in the US, the EU, and the UK, and they get to put that on an invoice and give it to any company paying them. And then what they get to do is choose how they get paid. So through our service, historically, people have been getting paid either in Bitcoin or in local currencies. But what we announced just this week is the ability for you to get paid in DAI. So now you have the access to get digital dollars into your wallets anywhere in the world, working from anywhere in the world, getting paid from any company that can in the US, the EU, and the UK. So that's kind of the high level of services. Another service that's important to talk about is we also provide capabilities for companies that have cryptocurrency like DAI. If you have a treasury of DAI and you need to spend that treasury to pay your workers, your freelancers, your vendors, what have you, you fund with that currency, and then the recipients choose what they want. So they can get DAI, they can get dollars or euros, Brazilian real, they can get other crypto as well. So that's kind of the high level. We've done $100 million of transactions and have over 50,000 recipients on our platform that have been using us. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Fabiano, who will, I guess, give more details on the ins and out of the system and perhaps, show a little demo of it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jonathan. So yeah, I guess the next step, you tell me, Juan, if that's the right time, but we can move on to, I can share my screen and maybe give, a better idea to the users how step-by-step process to get paid and receive in DAI would work.
That'll be great, yeah.
Maybe also give a quick introduction to yourself, Fabiano.
Oh yeah. Yes, I forgot I did that before we were on. Okay, so my name is Fabiano Diaz. I'm from Brazil. I've been with Bitwage for 5 years now, since 2016. I started with Brazil, which was one of the first, along with Philippines, the markets outside of the US that started gaining some considerable volume. And then from that, today I help all the fronts, international fronts, new ones that they're popping up, where crypto has helped people to move funds they have in other countries into their country, and this way making Bitwage a valuable solution for people that has the need to receive from abroad. So today our main markets are here in Latin America, which is Brazil, mainly Brazil and Argentina, namely. And that's why we got Roll since 2018, helping us out in the Spanish-speaking side. I really feel that, Latin America is going to be the place where the crypto should show its highest value for the people, because Latin America has a scenario that it has a considerably advanced banking and payment system and a weakening local currency. So that those two factors seems to me that the perfect, environment for crypto to grow and thrive. So now we have, of course, you can be from the US and choose to receive in DAI, or any other cryptocurrency for that matter, or you can be from Brazil or Argentina and keep your wages in a currency that is being less target to the valuing, as it is happening in the countries in South America these days. So, but then how? Let's move on to the how. That's where I share my screen, right? So
we can already see it, huh?
Oh, great. So the first thing you do, if you're gonna go to bitwage.com, and then you're going to sign up. Okay, we have a KYC for sign up. We're starting like the individual meaning that you're the one that needs to receive payments. In company means that you're willing to pay wages, meaning only companies can pay wages in that sense. So starting by the individual. So you will find yourself in our page. We have a KYC process to be run, where you will provide the basic KYC information, such as personal documents, and proof of residence, and your basic information, as well as your phone number for security for the first logins. And we recommend for the further logins that you use the Google Authenticator or app for authentication, as SMSs can not be super reliable or secure. So what happens here now, moving on to how it's going to look like once it takes, after the documents are sent, it takes 1 or 2 business days for it to approve. So let's move on to my account as a means to show an approved
Fabiano,
account.
do you need, to be an individual that receives your wage there, do you need the company already to be signed up? Is that a prerequisite?
If you're an individual, your payer has to be a company.
But the company
if that answers the question.
But the company does not need to sign up.
That's
okay. That was.
And
okay.
He's going to show how that works with the company not signing up right now.
Okay, sounds great. So potentially an individual could decide to use Bitwage even if the company is not in the system.
That's correct.
Great.
So an approved account for the individual should look like this. So his first step should be to come to contracts. Once you sign up, during the sign up process, you will provide your information of the first employer. So it should look like just a single contract on your account if you had just signed up, okay? Here I created multiple ones because I do this as demo for different currencies and so on, okay? So I'll get my test employer in USD here, and I will generate an invoice, okay? So I click on invoice, and then I'll create a new invoice over here, and then I'll add my board, which is like, can be, system programming, whatever. and then the amount that I need to receive, and then the date I expect it to arrive. That doesn't have to be a precise date, just the date that you expect it to arrive. If it's around the date, it should work. How your employer, sorry, usually sends the money in, for US dollars, since we're talking US dollars, he has the option of ACH and wire, which are two options of sending US dollars. We have the option of international wire for those companies outside of the US that pay into US dollars. Okay. In the same thing will happen if had we chosen euros, he would probably be SEPA, SEPA or faster payments if it's GBP and so on. Okay. And then here you usually upload the invoice that you are used to do for your employer. So you click here. I will choose a random file, but you would probably choose an invoice. If is the case you don't have an invoice, we usually recommend a text document with the employer and the date of arrival and the sum. Okay. So I'll get this picture right here. And now, once you upload it, you should highlight the button, Get the USD Bank Details. You click on it.
Sure.
Let me do this. Okay. Because on our blog, I have pictures of it without the numbers. Here.
I'm a bit sad, Fabiano, that we're not seeing DAI, we're seeing USD.
Because here the pair, I'm not there yet. Okay. So here I'll get there in a second. So just so the point where I push back to is that you should have an invoice looking like this. So it should be, if ACH was chosen, it's an interesting thing because it shows your name as beneficiary. So the payer doesn't even know, if he doesn't have to know that there's Bitwage or DAI or crypto involved for that matter. You can also download that as PDF, and that information will be available to send over email in an invoice format already to your employer in case you don't have, a general invoice format. Okay. So this is the bank account, the banking information that your employer should follow in order to send the money to you. Okay, so he sends USD to this account, and then how does it get transformed to DAI? So for that, the user, previously to making the invoice, actually this is the first step once the account is approved, is that he gets to choose what currency he wants to receive on. So here I have the, as a default, my Euro bank account, and then my Ethereum bank account. So let me remove my my Euro bank account because I'm fed up with fiat currencies, and add DAI. In the case I am, of course. And then I'll add the distributions. I would choose digital currency here. And then from the options, I would choose DAI. Then I'll get my DAI address. Oops. I'll add it here. I'll save it. It should ask me to confirm with my authenticator, just to be sure no one can route your sum to be received if someone access your screen or something. Just another layer of security.
So the cool thing here, is that this is going directly to your wallet of your choice, right? We're not custodying it on our system. So you have a hardware wallet where you're storing all your funds. You just put that address there, and it's going directly to your hardware wallet every paycheck.
Great. So if, let's say, here I set up as 50% for Ethereum, 50% of DAI, but let's say I want 1/3 also in Bitcoin, I can just add a new distribution here, digital currency. I'll choose Bitcoin. I'll add the Bitcoin address here. I would probably need the Bitcoin address to add here. I don't have one in my hands right now. Or on the other hand, I can get 100% in DAI. So I'll just delete my Ethereum distribution. Okay, now I have 100% in DAI, or I can even send like in 3 different parts to 3 different DAI wallets. Okay, so it's up to 3 distributions that you can divide your payment into. Okay.
So there are a few questions I want to go through, Fabiano. So first is, are individuals from all the world accepted, or are some countries blacklisted? So there are some countries that are blacklisted, but so for instance, Turkey, they banned the ability for you to pay for, I think, goods and services in crypto, but we will still be accepting Turkish users because they're not paying for services rendered. Of course, we'd have to do a deeper analysis to make sure that it's legal from our side. But if it is legal from our side, we accept it. And in general, we're looking at things like, OFAC lists and, sort of lists that are banned from a money laundering perspective. That's where there's blacklists. But in general, we have people in over 100 countries and all around the world. We're expecting to continue working with people from Turkey and Nigeria and Argentina and all across the world. The next question is, there should be a distinction between employer versus contractor. It appears Fabiano's current example is for a contractor with an invoice. So maybe Fabiano, you might want to show just the direct deposit product. I mean, it's not such a huge change, but just show that there is a distinction. And while he's getting that ready, question of, can you use Authy as a 2FA validation system? So anything that is compatible with the Google Authenticator, you can use. One of the issues that we had with the normal Authy setup is that it's actually protected via SMS. So it's still kind of susceptible to the SMS hack. But maybe Fabiano, you can also show like the security, how to actually switch on Google Authenticator as well as the direct deposit product.
Yeah, as you like Jonathan mentioned, as default, it should use your SMSs on your phone for you to do the first logins. But we really recommend, as soon as you first log in, your next step should go to profile and accounts here under your name. And then, oh, sorry, it's on security and alerts. I'm sorry. And then here, like, you can enable the authenticator from the Google app. The app, I really like the app. That's my main go-to for authenticator. I think the Apple version is not working anymore because we're revamping the website. But the Android one works pretty well. And that's my go-to. I really like the app for that. I'm not just saying that because I'm in Bitwage. But if you prefer your Google Authenticator because you have all your other exchanges and all your other securities already there, okay, you can just come here and enable it. It should look probably like this, like my SMS looks right now. You click on enable and you'll be sent to the key, and then you add the code to confirm the key, and then from that point on you use the Google Authenticator for the 2FA factor. Okay. I believe Jonathan also mentioned the direct deposits, meaning that you're in the US and wants to receive from the employer in the US. That's perfectly possible. Like what you have to do is like choose your US.
No, Fabiano, no, actually, go to the top right. Go to the top right. Fabiano invoicing, like go to profile and accounts.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry for that. And then we switch the product to the direct deposit.
Yeah.
And there you go. Now you can come and choose your direct deposits. And you select a new one, and the rest is pretty much the same. You would probably get a different bank account. That's the main thing that would change once you set up your payroll, your invoice in this case. Okay. So moving on to for the companies to pay out people, right? So we go back to bitwage.com, and in your company, you're the controller or even the CEO of your company, and you want to set up account to pay out people in multiple currencies using Bitwage. So the process is the same. You sign up as a company. That will be the basic KYC for companies there. You just add the name and the incorporation documents as well as the personal documents for KYC. And then once approved, it should look like this. Okay. So this is the page where you create the payroll. So you add your collaborators here. You should probably, as a default, you should come be at this page here in your first login. Oops. So you should be at the page workers here, and only your name should show. Okay, only the name of the person that created the account should show at first. And then he can come and add the workers, and he add them by email. And once it's done, okay, a button to invite them should show up here, okay? And then later you wouldn't pay out those people. So you should see the list as we were seeing here. And then you choose the amounts, how much you want to pay them. Okay. You can also upload the CSV with the emails and the amounts. Okay. You just have to show the currency that you're going to be paying out into. I mean, that you're going to be funding the payroll into. That's usually the currency that where the contract with your employer is set, right? If it's set in USD, if you hire the person and saying that they're going to receive X USD per month, that's USD you should show here. If you chose any others, it's basically the same process. And then you come down here and you create the payroll order. Okay. And then your payroll order should look like this. Okay. Well, I'll probably have to create a new one so you can see the currency being chosen. And now here are the options that you have to fund this payroll on. Okay, these are the options for US banking, given that you have chosen US. And here are the options to send crypto to the equivalent of the total amount of the payroll that you would need to pay out. Okay, so we're going to choose DAI. And then here is we have a 2% fee for funding a payroll in DAI. So here's the base amount of the payroll, meaning how much you set up to pay to your employers and how much you'll be willing to send to Bitwage. Okay. Okay, once you confirm, it should look like this. You click here to have access to the address, and then you move on to this page over here. So showing how much DAI you should send and the address you should send to. Okay, and once the transaction is done, your employees will get paid the same or next day. There's a priority system for paying next day, which we call the premium system, where we can prioritize the payment for the employers. And other than that, they will get paid the next day.
So I think it's a good time now to go over a couple other questions. So I see a question: is the U.S. the only country a company can process payroll? So you can actually process payroll from any country. It's just the banking functionalities that are available. So we even have like companies from Liberland on our system, and what they do is they fund with crypto. So if they're not from like the US or the Eurozone or the UK, typically they're going to fund with crypto. We can also have companies from the Philippines and the US because we have local bank accounts there as well that companies can fund with. But then outside of those jurisdictions, we can have companies, but they'll typically fund with crypto. So now hopefully they'll fund with DAI or some other crypto. Another question: for a company based in the US, California regulation has this fulfilling legal needs to pay employees in other parts of the world full wage or part of it is employed under US law or local law. So what you can really think of us is a gateway between fiat and cryptocurrency for business transactions with payroll, with freelancers, with paying vendors, what have you. If there are local compliance laws that you need to comply with, you will need sort of another software that we can work with and collaborate with, but we do not actually handle specifically labor compliance regulation. Instead, it's more of a payment gateway tool that companies can use to facilitate mass pay with currency conversions in the middle between in and out of fiat and cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
So is that process?
Yeah, just to for the first question, maybe it should help clarify that the payroll currencies here that you chosen are the payroll are the currencies that your contract is set. I mean, the contract you paid your employer, you promised your by contract usually or by any sort of agreement you would be paying into. These are the lists that those are the shown here as these. These are the options shown here because those are the ones that we can serve fiat to. So you guys have to consider that the user itself would have an invoicing platform on his end. So even if he chose to his contract to receive in USD, he can set to have any percentage in DAI, any percentage in Bitcoin, redistributing this way the wages that he set to receive. Okay.
Makes total sense. Nati is asking if there's any current example of a company in the US paying Latin American employees that are not a contractor.
We have quite a few American companies paying to the US. I cannot attest as for how if they have a WA between them or I cannot go deep into that because we don't know, we don't have the knowledge of that, but we have quite a few companies paying US into Latin America. That's actually our main use case in terms of volume today.
Yeah, so I can talk about how perhaps a US company would collaborate with a compliance software with us, where essentially they would work with some sort of local payroll company that facilitates essentially the tax calculation and withholding of the paycheck. And what you end up setting up with that organization is essentially, there's two components to it. One is when you actually need to get funds to that system, that system can be added as a recipient on our platform. And then, usually there will be like a specific currency amount that we need to pay to them. So if you're going to be funding with crypto, we're going to lock in that rate to pay to them. And we would set up a cadence for you to make sure that the funds are deposited to that entity properly. Also, we would set up with that entity a system such that essentially everything that doesn't need to go through for the tax withholdings will not flow through that system, but instead will just flow through our platform. So it's certainly possible to set that up and enable that functionality. We have successfully done this in the United States and in Europe, but to my knowledge, we haven't yet done it in Latin America. But it shouldn't. The processes in place to work and collaborate with those entities exist.
Yeah, from the operational standpoint, like we have a Filipino company paying to Argentina and Brazil. We have a European Spanish company paying into Argentina. We have American companies that pay into Argentina and Brazil at the same time. So we have all these use cases already.
And Mexico as well.
Yeah.
So in Argentina, you would pay in dollars, right? Because I didn't see the Argentinian peso in the list.
Yeah, we can only serve crypto, yeah.
Okay.
At the moment.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think we do have a beta for paying Argentine peso right now out.
Oh yeah, we do have something in go ahead.
I said, but people don't really want it.
Yeah.
Want crypto.
Yeah, we do have a couple of people in Argentina in this call, and yeah, it's a tough situation, I guess. Do we have any other questions from anyone? Actually, I was checking the chat, but I think we covered them all. Okay, Pros, I see that your question. Do you want to say it out loud or?
Yeah, I can hop on the mic. Just curious with vendors if the process is any different. Like as MakerDAO, obviously probably want to be funding it with DAI to pay our vendors, but could we pay any vendor regardless of where they're located, or would there be some restrictions there as far as USD?
I mean, as long as it's it's kosher from like a money laundering, terrorist financing perspective, it shouldn't be an issue. So let's say you had a vendor, either they could sign up and manage it themselves, or if they don't want to sign up, you can actually sign them up on behalf of that vendor, and then we can facilitate the payout. So let's say you wanted to fund in DAI and they wanted Bitcoin or euros or something, then that would be able to facilitate through us. But let's say they wanted some fiat currency that doesn't exist on our platform, then we wouldn't be able to pay out that fiat currency, right?
Maybe you guys can. I know that you said 2% as an extra fee when paying in DAI. I don't know if you can cover a bit on the pricing and speak a little bit about that.
So today, for professionals receiving invoicing their employees and receiving in DAI, it's 2% plus the network fee, which is currently $5. For funding, it's just 2%.
And to be clear, if you are an entity that is going to be funding with DAI, we will remove the fee on the receiving end, so that there is no fee besides the gas fee, pretty much, on the receiving side. But you would want to tell us beforehand so we can customize that pricing solution for you. It's only meant to be on one side of the transaction, not on both sides of the transaction. And yeah, and those fees can also change depending on, you know, the size of your company and how much volume you're going to do. It's not set in stone. So there is flexibility there.
That's great. And if someone wants to use Bitwage, I guess the best way is to go to bitwage.com and start there. And if they have questions, I don't know, contact you or is there a support kind of team? How does that work?
Yeah, and I have a question regarding that, because maybe for people that it's already involved in this world and manage the technical knowledge just a bit at least, it's not so hard to understand. But I think that when you start thinking on companies, human resources team or people that it's involved on payroll, it's not so aware about this technology and how to use that. So my question is, do you have kind of a tutorial video or like brochure or something like that to start providing some food for thoughts to them in an easy way to understand? Because I think that the main challenge that employees have in a company, it's having the tools to be paid on crypto, but also letting others know about that this is possible. And I think that sometimes they are afraid of doing something wrong, or they are not understanding what to do. So that will help a lot for employees to push our employer to make that change.
So something to convince the human resources department, I guess.
Yes.
We do have extensive material on the internet, on our YouTube channel. We also have the support page on the website, support.bitwage.com. And of course, you know, you can always, we are always available to set up a good time for a call and then go through the website. Usually it takes no more than 5 to 10 minutes. You know, it's pretty simple once you look at it. So I would say there's plenty available. Some of it may be outdated for the reason that we're revamping the website, but still they give the general idea. They give the, you know, the step-by-step process of, you know, making and receiving those payrolls.
I have one. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No,
No,
go ahead,
just,
Nadia.
thank you, Frank. I have one question. Besides the payment, do you have other benefits for the employees or contractors? Like, I don't know, maybe a healthcare insurance or a credit card or something like that? Or it's just for payments?
For the US, we do have the option of 401k Bitcoin payment. As for a card solution, it's something that we've been looking into for a while. We haven't really gotten into anything that would make full sense right now, but yeah, you know, for the US employees, there is the benefits option of, you know, 401k Bitcoin based. Perhaps you met and Jonathan can describe a little bit in more detail.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, in the US, we offer an investment option so that companies can allow employees to invest in tax deferred solutions in the Bitcoin, in their 401k through Bitcoin. So that exists. But globally right now we focus on having the most smooth payment gateway, mass payment gateway into and out of between crypto and fiat currencies. So,
Cool. Hey.
but it is quite popular. What we do see is a lot of companies that have like crypto on their treasury that basically want an easy solution to fund with that crypto and pay out to vendors, to employees, to contractors, so that they don't have to like have a bank account and B, deal with an exchange and a bank account and an FX entity all at the same time. They just have one solution, to manage all of that. And that's where this comes into play.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah, and our growth in the US is really exciting. I kind of like to think that growth in South America is kind of like a premonition of what we're going to be seeing pretty soon here in the US. And this year especially has been really exciting for that region. So yeah, I just wanted to add that because we're just really enthusiastic about US growth right now.
Frank, I think you had a question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfectly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I just was trying to gauge the health of the company. I saw that you guys raised some money in 2018, and I was just wondering, with regards to that, is the survivorship of the company is dependent on the revenue that's going to be made by the fees that you're charging, or have you guys raised money since 2018? I mean, like, what's the health of Bitwage?
Yeah, so Bitwage has been around since 2014, and we were profitable last year. We actually had about 20% profit margin. So we're not going away anytime soon. We are a sustainable company as it is.
Okay, so you haven't raised any money since 2018.
Yeah, we haven't raised money since 2018. That's correct, but we're growing. Our revenues are growing right now, and we're profitable. So I don't think that there's an issue there.
Cool, man. Good to hear.
Yeah. Actually, the bulk of the money that we raised was in 2015, not 2018.
Do we have any other questions or comments? I don't know, Jonathan, if we're leaving something or if there's something that we're forgetting to ask and you would like to have it covered.
I mean, one of the things that I'm just very excited about this collaboration is the idea that people are going to have access to the digital dollar on their phone anywhere in the world. I think that while Bitcoin is a great hedge against national currencies, there are tons of people around the world that don't want their local currencies, but they also are not ready for the volatility of Bitcoin. And I think this is where stablecoins is going to be a very, very important role. And what we believe is our system is going to enable companies to much, much more easily pay workers everywhere in the world. Now that you're basically pressing a button and people are able to get digital dollars anywhere in the world, and they're able to, store their value in that and then liquidate it to local currency as they need. So I'm very excited about what this will bring.
Sounds good. Fabiano, anything else that you would like to comment?
Well, maybe if people want to know more about how Bitwage works and how can that apply to their services, either companies or individuals, they can contact us through support@bitwage.com or on our Slack channel, public bitwagepublic.slack.com. and they can talk not only to us but to other users too. It's very common for the users to share their experiences among them, and I think that it's a little bit more valuable than hearing straight from us. So there you go, and I'm available too if you guys want to, reach out at fabiano@bitwage.com, and I leave it to you guys.
Oh,
And thank you
uh,
guys for being here. Thank you for the opportunity.
oh, and feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Bitwage. I just try to stay vigilant on our page. You can follow us for updates, but not only that, if you have customer service questions, just send us a DM. I try to be as responsive as I can on there. And it's usually just an easy and quick way to get in touch with us.
Sounds great.
One last thing, I guess, is we host a clubhouse room once a week on Bitcoin and crypto for business. We just started it this past week, so feel free to join our club and meet us there. We'll be talking about it every week.
That's what the cool kids are doing nowadays, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And I know everyone in here is a cool kid. So get on Clubhouse and talk to us about Bitcoin and business.
If you're an iPhone user. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. It was great having you. Thanks, Jonathan, Fabiano, Matt, and Raul.
Well, thank you, Juan. Thank you, Nadia, for setting this up. And I hope we see you guys around.
Yeah, totally. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.